So we're talking about rectifying a mistake. As I mentioned in the last video, I had a halo around these raised stencils because of a previous fix. So what I'm doing now is I'm just lightly dragging some of the orange colors a little bit further past the stencil to blend into the wall before I go ahead and try to fix this with the glazing compound. On the last video we added some of the Dynamo. This one now that I'm adding is the Lucky Penny. So again, we're just dragging out past this raised stencil, and I don't know if I have enough paint on here. I don't want a lot, I just want enough to kind of blend this back into the wall before we go ahead and add the glaze. I'll get a little bit more of the Lucky Penny on here. And like I said, I'm just going to drag this on the wall to blend it and drag past so you don't create another halo. You need to pull this across the wall a little bit further and up in here. Need a little more of that. And all I want to do is kind of cover in the raised areas. You can see that that's starting to hide it pretty well already. We'll come over here. You might have to put a couple coats of this on. Don't put it on too thick to just be done with it. You're going to have to put a couple coats on to keep smoothing it out. And when I come back, hopefully I'll have all the orange colors back on here. So we'll use the Lucky Penny, the Dynamo, and the Poppy Field. Just keep blending this in and blend past your two raised stencils or wherever you were having a problem. And then when we come back, we'll be able to put the glazing on and blend these into the wall. Thank you for watching. Okay, as you can see, I went ahead and added the three different oranges we had here, which were the Copper Penny, Field Poppy, and Dynamo. And I dry brushed it along the edges and a little further out into here to kind of blend in with the wall, so we didn't have the halo around the stencils. So now what I'm going to do, because it looks a lot better, I'm just going to add a little bit of glazing medium to these areas just to kind of make that blend back in again. And then you won't even notice that there was a mistake. I went ahead and pounced some of the orange colors into the wall instead of just dragging over to hide some of that glaze that was already on here. And that seemed to help a lot too. So we're just going to glaze out a little past. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but again, that way it helps to not create a halo around these mistakes on these stencils that I made. I don't want a lot of glaze, just enough to cover this up. Okay, that's looking a lot better. I do need a little bit more. I'm going to use a different cloth this time. That one's starting to get filled with a lot of glaze, and it's not really applying the way I want it to. So and again, I don't know if I told you guys or not, but all I did was tear up some old towels that I had to do this. You don't have to buy a lot of expensive tools to do a faux finish. You notice I mostly just used some old paint brushes that I had and some old paints that I had. And if you don't have a lot of colors, see what your friends have. Maybe you can go looking through their old paints and see if they have any colors that you might like to put on your walls. You don't have to do this with oranges. You can do it any color you want to. You can do blues or greens or yellows. Yellows would be really pretty. So just kind of go with it. And don't be afraid of making mistakes like I just did. They can always be fixed. And that's why I wanted to show you guys that you can fix mistakes. You don't have to be afraid to do a faux finish. There's nothing to it really. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. You can really barely tell that there was even any mistake made at all. Now I'm just taking the side of my cloth that doesn't have as much glaze on it and just wiping some of that back off again. Blending it into the wall. And I'm not pressing very hard, and just kind of going in a circular motion. Okay, that looks pretty good, I think. So there you have it. I'm going to take you around and show you all the walls finished so you can see what they look like, and a couple little close-ups. So, and I'll just show you a close-up of what